Hello to Age. I hope everyone's having a great day. I miss you guys so much. Every single day I'm thinking about you, hoping that your family is doing well and everyone is healthy. I hope you are enjoying this time being at home, even though it doesn't always seem like the most fun. There are many things that you can do to make it fun and enjoy the time together. I want to wish everyone a happy spring break. Next week, I will not be sending you daily emails, but you can still log on to the different websites and do work if you choose. I also, if you check the classwork section, I have different things on there for emotional learning. And the one PowerPoint slideshow is really fun. It has a lot of cartoons on there that you guys know and love. The people from, I think it's Inside Out, and different little video clips are on there. It's really a lot of fun. I have a whole section that says extra stuff for fun, field trips you can take at home, different things you can do online. So please check that out and stay busy that way. Let's see. I also have a Epic Learning blog you can go on, free subscriptions, and a bunch of YouTube channels that we love. Keep on doing your work, staying positive, helping out your family at home, and just always remember I'm missing you so much. So before we go on break, I'd like to read this next chapter. The last thing we read, this lady had turned Edward into a scarecrow. We didn't know what was going to happen next, but we knew he was sad. Chapter 16, and this is the picture. "Bryce," said the old woman, "get away from that rabbit. I ain't paying you to stand and stare." "Yes, ma'am," said Bryce. He wiped his nose with the back of his hand and continued to look up at Edward. The boy's eyes were brown with flecks of gold shining in them. "Hey," he whispered to Edward. A crow settled on Edward's head, and the boy flapped his arms and shouted, "Go on, get!" And the bird spread its wings and flew away. "Bryce!" shouted the old woman. "Ma'am," said Bryce. "Get away from that rabbit. Do your work. I ain't gonna say it again." "Yes, ma'am," said Bryce. He wiped his hand across his nose. "I'll be back to get you," he said to Edward. The rabbit spent the day hanging by his ears, baking in the hot sun, watching the old woman and Bryce weed and hoe the garden. Whenever the woman wasn't looking, Bryce raised his hand and waved. The bird circled over Edward's head, laughing at him. What was it like to have wings, Edward wondered. If he had wings, when he was tossed overboard, he would not have sunk to the bottom of the sea. Instead, he would have flown in the opposite direction into the deep, bright blue sky. And when Lolly took him to the dump, he would have flown out of the garbage and followed her and landed on her head, holding on with his sharp claws. And on the train, when the man kicked him, Edward would not have fallen to the ground. Instead, he would have risen up and sat on top of the train and laughed at the man. In the late afternoon, Bryce and the old lady left the field. Bryce winked at Edward as he walked past him. One of the crows lighted on Edward's shoulder and tapped him with his beak, reminding the china rabbit that he had no wings and he could not fly, and he could not move at all on his own in any way. Dusk descended over the field, and then came true dark. A whippoorwill sang out over and over again. It was the saddest sound Edward had ever heard. It's like a bird singing out. And then came another song, the hum of a harmonica. A harmonica is a little instrument about this big, and people put it by their mouth and they blow into it and like move it around, and it makes different noises. It's a lot of fun. Bryce stepped out of the shadows. "Hey," he said to Edward. He wiped his nose with the back of his hand and then played another bit of song on the harmonica. "I bet you didn't think I'd come back, but here I am. I came to save you." Too late, thought Edward, as Bryce climbed the pole and worked at the wires that were tied around his wrists. "I am nothing but a hollow rabbit." Too late, thought Edward, as Bryce pulled the nails out of his ears. "I am only a doll made of china." But when the last nail was out and he fell forward into Bryce's arms. The rabbit felt a rush of relief, and a feeling of relief was followed by one of joy. Perhaps, he thought, it's not too late, after all, for me to be saved. So now Edward's feeling some more hope. He's been saved by the little boy Bryce, and I wonder where he will take him next. Hope you guys have a wonderful spring break. Continue to be the amazing kids that I know you are. I miss you every day. That's it. We'll talk when spring break's over. I love you guys. I miss you.